Well, the technology never seems to work correctly when I try these live streams, so I apologize if you were on earlier with me when I was at the country's largest Walmart, where they have an Electrify America charging bank there, when I was trying to give this thing some juice earlier on. But yeah, that failed, so I deleted it, and now I am back again. So if you have any questions about the 2022 IONIQ 5, limited all-wheel drive, it is here for a few more hours. I've been driving it all week. Yes, there are people cutting down trees in my neighborhood, I'm sorry. And yeah, it goes back this afternoon. I've had a great week with it. I am thoroughly impressed. The full review will post later this week or early next week. But spoiler alert, it is awesome. This is the best electric car that I have driven to date. And I have driven the ID4. I have driven the Mach-E, among others, my own Kona, of course. And it's extremely impressive, both from a size, technology standpoint, range, power. The only bad news is that it's extremely limited in its availability. And with an MSRP for this limited all-wheel drive model at $53,000 before a $7,500 federal tax credit, the price is excellent. But again, if you can't get them, I guess it doesn't really matter. But hopefully that allocation will improve as the year goes on and expand into other states as well. But anyway, so this one here, like I said, is a two-motor IONIQ 5. So it's typically a rear-wheel drive car, but there are motors now on the rear and the front axles for this one here. And it produces over 300 horsepower and over or around 450 or maybe even more pound-feet of torque. The acceleration in this car, now if you've ever driven an EV, you know how they step off, how immediate that power delivery is. Well, this one here is incredibly impressive. It's like being on test track at Disney World when it first takes off. I mean, if you put this in sport mode and really hammer it, it goes like crazy. It's a great drive with the low center of gravity, with the battery pack down on the floor. Handling is excellent. It's quiet. And, you know, frankly, and I know I'm probably in the minority on this, I really prefer the design language of this car over the Kia version known as the EV6. It's got this retro futuristic combination thing going on here that I'm attracted to. I really like it. So let's start her up and take a look. Seeing as how I'm not Bluetooth into this car, I should not lose you like I typically do when I forget about that. So here's the startup screen with the driver information display right here. Over here, this is very familiar to me, and it would you as well if you have a Kona or plenty of other Hyundai products. It's a slightly updated version of what I'm used to in my Kona EV. And as you can see here, after my fast charging session this morning at 350 kilowatts, impressive. It got me up to 100%. I'm down to 98% now. You're not supposed to fast charge these things above 80%, but I was trying a couple of things earlier for experimental purposes. And anyway, and I've mostly plugged it into my own outlet in my garage here. Trickles in, but gets the job done for the most part. 221 miles is what it is showing right now. It's rated at 256 on a full charge. It's a little cool here. Actually, it's showing 54 now. This is the warmest day we've had all week since I've had the car. So generally speaking, I have seen around 200 miles on a full charge in those freezing temperatures earlier on during my loan period. And right now with the HVAC stuff going, we are at 221 miles, and it shows you here, if you were to kill the HVAC stuff, you could see 223 miles. And of course, depending on the drive mode you're in and how you're driving, those numbers will flex a little bit. There is a drive mode selector button down here. You can press and go to sport mode, which is really cool. And then there's eco, normal, And if you hold it, and I did use this earlier in the week, a snow mode, which locks in the all-wheel drive nature of the car. Now, the tires on this one were not particularly grippy for winter driving in the snow and the slush. So I did not find the traction to be that impressive, but if I owned this myself, I would do what I did with my Kona and get me some of those Michelin Ice X snows. But these here, even on the kind of salty, slippery roads that we have around here this time of the year, the traction could use a little boost. But the wheels are awesome, aerodynamically inspired, and 20 inches in size here. As for the size of the car, it has large car dimensions, which is really nice. So you've got this totally flat floor here. And this center console slides back and forth. So from the front, you can move this up and back. Right now, it's in its farthest back position. So if you had a third person back here in the center spot, you would move this forward. 2 USB ports. There are HVAC vents, but they're over here on the pillars, which is nice. You've got all of these different environmentally friendly recycled materials being used in here. It looks great. Lots of room. Huge glass roof up above. It's fixed. And it's got a sunshade that closes both from the front and the rear when you press it. Yeah, it's big, it's comfortable. It's got sunshades on this limited model on the side windows. And then out back here, that, if I had the key fob on me, would have opened automatically. But you've got this cargo shade here, which can pop out. You've got some underfloor storage. Right now, I just put the charge cable back in there. There's a little hump here in the middle, so this is divided storage underneath both, but this floor can slide at different levels to provide a little more space. But it's got a lot of room. It's got more room inside here than both the Mach-E and the ID4, and it feels it. They call it an SUV. I don't know if I would go that far. It still kind of looks like a car to me, but whatever. Back here, you can either use the key fob to do that, or you can just press on it, and you can see. Now, this is the one thing I don't really care for. I much prefer the front charge port location on my Kona EV. With this, you have to back into a lot of the charging stations, and also I have to back into my garage. Not sure exactly what the impetus was for moving this back here. Maybe the rear drive layout. I'm currently asking Hyundai people that and waiting for an answer. And you can see these little blocks here, kind of reminiscent of like an 80s video game, which light up as the charge increases when you're plugged in. And then it's got a little close button. Now this one charges really fast. So I was at 350 kilowatts over at the location this morning over at Walmart. And it'll go from 10 to 80% in under 20 minutes in ideal conditions, assuming the charger's putting out its full amount of juice and the weather and so forth. If you were to do this at a level 2 charger, it would take approximately 6 hours and change. And then at level 3, obviously, it's going to take a couple of days if you just let it trickle in at that rate. But it's great. 250 miles of range plus, maybe more in the summer months, depending upon how you drive it and how you use it. So, did I turn off questions here, or is no one answering or asking any questions? I'm not sure which. There is a little frunk in the front. It's little. It's not like the size of the... Hey, there we go. There is a question. So, it is pretty fast. So, in the front here, unlike the Mach-E, which has that big frunk where you don't really see much, here you've got this plastic cover over the electronics. And then in here, there's a little extra storage in here. Yeah. And if you need to get to stuff, you just pull this out. Are the seats ventilated or cooled is the question. The seats are heated. And with the temperatures I've had here this week, I have not had to look for ventilated front seats. So let me show you here. So when you get in the car, and this is one thing I don't love. In order to get to the heated seats and stuff, there's not an actual physical button for it. You have to go to warmer down here. And then when you hit warmer, it pops up here on this screen. And with 3 levels of charging, and then also your heated steering wheel is in here. So no. So you just have heated. No ventilated front seats. Unless I'm missing something here. Unless I'm not seeing it. I don't believe that is the case. No. So heated seats. They do have a button here, though, for the camera, which I like. As you know, if you've watched any of my previous videos, I much appreciate having the 360-degree camera button off of the screen and physically somewhere else. And so here's the little sliding feature of the center console. Is there any government rebates? Yes, sir. $7,500 EV tax credit for the IONIQ5. Absolutely. Watching from Alberta. All right, now people are chiming in. There we go. Thank you, Maurice. So down here, too, there's a wireless charge pad, and this is the problem. You press the blue arrow that points down for cooling. Is that right? So this does have ventilated seats? No, that's just the temperature control. I don't think this has ventilated seats, does it? Am I wrong? I am wrong. Holy crap, thank you. So that was bad information I just gave you. Yes, you press the blue arrow and you get the cooled, and then you go to the red. Oh, there you go. Well, isn't that nice? Yeah, it's been freezing here all week, so I have not investigated that yet. So there it is. Yeah, I don't have any need for ventilated seats. Back to the wireless charge pad. So it's here, but the USB port for connecting your Android or Apple phone is right here. Now, Hyundai still doesn't get this right. In a car so futuristic as this, there's no wireless phone projection. I don't get that. There's the phone projection button, but you got to use a cable. So that's a bummer. I can't believe they haven't figured that out yet. I was disappointed with that in my Kona EV, and they still don't have that ready here for this version. I think they call this AVN5 Wide. Oh, Maurice is a senior. He said it looks complicated. And I'll tell you what, it really isn't as complicated as it may look, because the Hyundai navigation stuff is very easy to get around. They make it very simple to see exactly what you're going for here. I think you would learn this, Maurice, in no time at all. And then over here, as far as the driver information display goes, there's a button here on the steering wheel, and that just rotates through a few different screens of information. I actually find this car to be pretty easy to use. I think it's easier than the sync screen, the big, long, rectangular sync screen in the Mach-E. And everything else about it, too. Oh, I didn't see that whole comment there. Somebody was commenting about the wireless connectivity. I love wireless CarPlay. I love it. I love not having to connect my phone to a cable. It works fine for me. By and large, I don't really have any problems with it. As you can see here, the door handles, these will pop open as you approach the vehicle with your key, and then as you drive off or lock it, they will retract back into the body. EV noob here. Can you charge at a Tesla charging station? The answer to that question is no. You cannot charge at Tesla because Tesla uses a proprietary plug. Now, if you had some sort of an adapter, I suppose you could. But generally speaking, no, you cannot. Tesla plays their own game. So no, that's a no. But you know what you can do? And I actually made a little video of this for my Instagram page the other day. I'm on Instagram if you type my name in and find me. But get this. This is kind of neat. So it's called Vehicle to Load, or V2L. So in the glove box here, there is an adapter. I love how I have to hold my own camera here, so this is going to be kind of bumpy for you. Sorry. But so there's this adapter that allows you to turn the charge port here into an outlet. And I actually connected this. You just kind of stick this in here, it clicks in, and then at this end here, this drops down and creates a 120 volt outlet. And I was able to actually charge the Kona just for fun. I didn't need to, but I just wanted to see how it worked. And I charged the Kona EV for a little bit with the IONIQ5, with that little adapter right there. So kind of neat stuff. They really get it. They understand that they have to push this technology forward a little bit and make it different from the others. And they've done enough here with the IONIQ5, I think, to distinguish it from a lot of the other EVs on the market. So an excellent job here by Hyundai. By the way, this lights up at night. This little strip right here has little square pixel lighting that lights up through here at night. Kind of cool. All right, well, I think that's going to do it here. I just wanted to give you guys a quick look at the IONIQ5 before the video posts, like probably late this week, early next week. If they will squeeze in a small third row, no way. Not in this wheelbase. This is the longest wheelbase of any Hyundai vehicle, believe it or not. This is it. They've really stretched it. But I don't think we are going to see a third row. There's just not any room for this. But the IONIQ6 and the IONIQ7, I believe, those are the next two, and those will be bigger. With the one will have a third row for sure, but not in the IONIQ5. All right, guys, thank you very much. No back wiper. Yeah, you know what, Daniel, that's a good point. With some snow this week, I really could have used a rear wiper. That's a good point. I remember looking for it, and it's not there. And so I had to use the rear defroster to kind of melt off that leftover snow and ice. Would have been nice to have a little one tucked up under here. But as you can see, there's actually some aero here going on. That's not completely covered. So who knows? Maybe they'll mess with that. Thanks very much. I appreciate you guys checking in, and check out my channel if you've seen or have missed some of my recent updates. I have a Honda Civic hatchback on there, and a Audi A3, and Toyota Highlander hybrid, and some other stuff. And today I'm getting the new 2022 Lexus LX. So going from a fuel-efficient, zero-emission electric car to some dinosaur that probably gets, I don't know what it gets any. It used to get about 12 miles per gallon. I know they've improved that, so. All right, guys. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.